Hello everyone, you are invited to watch this video to learn about the basic materials we use in the laboratory, their hazardous nature and the safety measures to be taken when working with these materials. I am Mujita Yapa Silva, a Senior Staff Technical Officer attached to the Department of Agricultural Biology, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Peradeniya. So, these are the basic materials that are used in many laboratory practices: chemicals, glassware, electricity, heat, equipments like microscope, laminar flow, autoclave and ovens, and burner or flame. And also, if you are working in a microbiology lab, you need microbial cultures. First, I will explain the hazardous nature of chemicals. This sign, this indicates the hazardous nature of this particular chemical. This is toxic chemical. This can enter into the body by ingestion. So, especially when we work with these chemicals, we need to wear personal protective clothing. If these enter into the body by accident, you may cause health effects like vomiting, poisoning. The second example is corrosive. Corrosive means a substance that can cause visible discoloration, destruction or irreversible change in tissues at the point of contact. These can enter into the body through dermal absorption. The health effects of these are wounds, itching, burning sensation and sometimes breathing difficulties. Thirdly, oxidizers. An oxidizer is a substance that can cause combustion at room temperature. Examples for oxidizers are nitrates, perchlorates and permanganates. These can cause thermal burns. Finally, flammable liquids. Example for highly flammable liquids are ethanol, methanol, dimethyl formamides. These can cause wounds and excessive exposure to the vapor of these liquids may cause dizziness. Let's move on to the second material, glassware. Before use, all glassware should be checked to ensure that there are no cracks and flows of scratches that may cause it to fail in its use. Secondly, when tubing, the glassware should be lubricated with water or glycerol and the plastic tube may briefly immerse in hot water. When working with hot glassware, which looks like same as cool glassware. Special care should be taken to place it where no one can accidentally get into contact with it, or you can place a label like this near the hot water, near the hot glass vessel. And finally, the damaged or broken glassware should be collected separately, put it into a box and label the box as broken glassware and keep it in a corner of the laboratory, and remember to dispose this separately. Do not put this into the usual bin. The third material we need is electricity. We use many electrical equipments in the laboratory: oven, hot plate, autoclave, laminar flow, etc. Always check the wire which comes out from the machine is free from cracks or damages. If it is free from cracks only, you can connect it to the main power source. And sometimes you will find clumped wires when many equipments are lying on a table. So before everything, separate the correct wire which goes to the exact machine you are going to work with, and then connect it to the power source. Sometimes you may need to work with extension cords. If you see any cut or damaged part in the extension cord, do not try to repair it using normal tape. Either just dispose this, or else you can shorten the extension cord by fixing a new plug end. And another thing, do not try to connect multiple extension cords together to reach your work. Just get the exact length of the cable and get your work done. Next, the material we use in the laboratory is flame. Flame, we can get flame either by using a spirit lamp or through a Bunsen burner. Since this gives an open flame, you should not leave the open flame unattended, and do not leave the laboratory when the burner is on, and always keep in mind to shut off the main gas valve when the burner use is complete. When working with heat releasing equipments and burners, it is always remember to practice that no combustible material should keep in the surrounding. Combustible material like paper, cotton, loose hair or loose clothing should keep away from heating sources and burners. And also, proper housekeeping is also essential, and good mindfulness during the work period is necessary. So those are the basic materials we use in our laboratories, and now I will explain how to use chemicals in safe way. A person who comes to the laboratory to work should wear personal protective equipments. This includes laboratory coat, gloves, and protective shoes. If you are working with volatile chemicals, you need to wear the mask and goggles as well. Then eating, drinking or application of cosmetics is prohibited inside the laboratory. These are pipetting devices. So mouth pipetting is prohibited. You need to use the pipetting devices inside the laboratory. Do not taste or smell chemicals. And before opening a chemical bottle and removing any of the contents from the chemical bottle, always read the label twice. When working with flammable liquids, volatile chemicals, it is necessary to use the fume hood cupboard, and especially when using potentially hazardous chemicals like ethidium bromide, phenol, you are advised to use the material safety data sheet which is in the laboratory, which gives information on handling and hazardous nature of that particular chemical. Always treat chemicals as dangerous substances. It is a must to label all the test tubes or flasks having containers with contents like this, the name of the medium and the date you prepared it. Do not leave test tubes like this without labeling. And another thing, after preparing a solution, do not try to swirl it using your thumb. You need to get a piece of paraffin and cover the lid of the volumetric flask using the paraffin, and then you need to swirl it gently. If any chemical spillage occurs onto your skin or your eyes, immediately flush it using running water for at least 20 minutes. And before leaving the laboratory, clean the workplace and wash your hands properly using soap. When you enter the laboratory, you need to bring only the essentials you need to work, like pens, pencils or pencil case. Keep your belongings outside the laboratory so that your belongings will not get contaminated. And also, before entering the lab, long hair should be tied back and jewelry like hanging jewelries should be removed. And when you enter the laboratory, you have to wear the overcoat. Always button your overcoat and make sure the cuffs are tied onto your glove. So, when handling chemicals and when handling glassware, if you have these things in your mind, you can work smoothly and always think that not only you work in the lab, there are so many people are working there, so you have to maintain your safety as well as other people's safety. Thank you.